lucky is Anthony Albanese? 4 months ago, the polls said he could lose the election. But after a fierce campaign smearing opposition leader Peter Dutton, lying about his policies, lying about his character, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese not only wins, he's got the biggest number of seats Labor has ever won. Plus the coalition has broken up in despair. And Albanese, meanwhile, had a brilliant time this past week visiting Indonesia, having a great time in Rome, yucking it up with the new Pope, while interest rates here even went down again. No wonder he looked a little smug on returning to Australia today. Joining me is the panel, Michael Costa, former New South Wales Labor Treasurer, and Michael Danby, former federal Labor MP. Michael, I'll say it again, Labor won, but all the old problems remain, and Labor didn't go to the election with fixes for them, you know, for low productivity, for high debt, for the China threat, for our weak military, for the soaring house prices and so on. So what do you expect Labor now to do? What do you want it to do?
Which Michael?
Oh, I forgot Michael Costa.
Look, Andrew, I don't want Labor to do anything. I think I want them to stop doing what they've been doing. That is, you know, taxing, spending, and wasteful spending at that, and also, you know, pandering to special interests. But we're not going to get that. The reality is, you know, pandering to special interests has actually worked for this government, and I expect to see more of that. Unfortunately, what we're going to see is, you know, more money on the climate doomsday cult. The only good thing about this term of government, I think, for people that are sceptical about all this, it'll be further down the track. Maybe those blackouts and everything else that's been predicted because of the system instability will happen. But look, the real reality is Labor's in there for at least 2 terms. I can't see any change. I said to you last week, Andrew, I thought the best thing that the Nationals could do was leave the coalition, and lo and behold, they did. I wasn't advising them, but I still think it's the best thing because I think they need time, the coalition, to work out what they stand for. Knock off Labor, which Susan Lee's going to be, is not going to deliver them an election win. They're better to have, you know, the challenges right now, the conflicts, and work out a winning strategy, and that means sticking to your values. And unfortunately, left of the Liberal Party is, you know, a pathetic machine, and it's one that's got pathetic policies that Labor will always trump.
Andrew, can I just say you're dead right?
Go ahead.
That Albo's been kissed in the arse, as they say in Australia, by a rainbow. I mean, he's come a long way from the steering committee, which is what they used to call the socialist left in New South Wales, Michael Costa. And how would you be if you're Bill Shorten? Got more votes and got nothing. Here's a bloke with 94 in federal parliament on preferences from the Green Party and Clive Palmer and other loonies. So but Michael Costa is right. Eventually, especially the energy policies are going to come up against the engineering, and there's no political restraint on them now. But unless they have some balancing power that gas or keeping some of those coal-fired power stations going, they're going to be in dead trouble with electricity blackouts.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Michael Costa. I mean, Labor wins a historic victory, but most of the talk is instead about the Liberals. And I think in part it is because Labor has no mandate for recovery, just for massive handouts. I just wonder then, how is it that they're going to do anything? I mean, are they waiting for a crisis in order to then justify coming up with some policies to deal with it? What is going on? I mean, just take, I know it wasn't central, but just take, for instance, the fact that they are gutting our military at a time when there's international crises. What are they going to do? Just leave it this as weak as it is, for instance?
Well, Andrew, I think they are going to leave everything as it is. And why wouldn't they? You know, they're taking the view that their policies won the election rather than the opposition's incompetent campaign. And it comes back to that. If you don't have an opposition, if you look at Labor, they've locked in their strategy for the future. You can see it, you know, the Future Made in China Fund, you know, the Doomsday Cult rollout, and, you know, paying off the unions to undermine our productivity. That's what it's going to be. There'll be virtue signalling on the global scale as Penny Wong, you know, goes around attacking poor old Israel again. And, you know, Albo will just enjoy the limelight. He's never been a policy man, and Michael Danby knows this. He's just going to bask in the glory of it. Really, to me, the issue is, can the opposition get itself act together in the next 2 terms? You know, they need to work out what their policies are. They need to lose a bit of skin in the fight. And, you know, I don't know why everybody's running around, you know, a couple of weeks after an election loss saying you ought to get back together. Mate, they can't agree on anything. And I wouldn't want to be in coalition with the Liberal Party left. I mean, you can see what their policies are going to be. They're going to be appalling. You can never win an election based on those policies.